Okay, so yesterday we were discussing about the sales order invoice process and we were discussing about the free text invoice. So we will see that particular free text invoice concept, how we can do the invoice. So before that, there was a question was asked by Sri Lakshmi. So how we can copy the customer from one legal entity to another legal entity. Okay, so we have two options. One is either you can publish that particular customer to another legal entity with the help of changing the legal entity and filtering that particular party association ID, and you can publish it. So that is one way of doing the copying the customer master information from one legal entity to another legal entity. Okay, so for that you need to navigate to the organization administration. So under organization administration you have global address book. So this is the global address book. So for each customer or vendor, so there is a party association ID which will be mapped against to that particular uh, master. Like for example, if you see the customer, if I go to the account receivable customer, all customer, okay. So let me change the legal entity USMF. So at here I have one customer, that is the E001. Okay. So if I see the party association ID for this particular customer is, if I click on change party association ID, so this is the existing party association ID which is mapped against this particular customer. Okay. So if I copy this particular party association ID and if I go back to the global address book, okay, that is from the organization administration global address book. So at here, if I filter that particular party association ID, okay, so I have this particular party association ID and this is the name of that particular name and address information which is populating over here. So either I can create with this party association ID customer, vendor, contact, prospect and competitor. Okay, and to create this particular with this particular party association ID, with this particular name, I can create vendor also. So for the creation of vendor, you can see we have a contact which we can create. Customer is already created, so that was the reason it is grayed out in this particular legal entity. So if I want to create vendor, so if I click on this particular vendor, so it will ask me to select the vendor group. Okay, like for example, now at here I have clicked on vendor. So in vendor, it was asked me to map the account number. So account number, if you want to auto generate the number sequence, yes, you can generate it. That is just enabling the parameter. Okay, so at here, let me add the vendor dash, like v dash 0001 triple one. Okay, and we need to give the vendor group. Okay, so for creation of vendor, is vendor group is the mandatory thing, so we need to definitely provide the vendor group, otherwise it will not save it. Based on the vendor group only, your posting profile going to be hit. Okay, so after updating the vendor group, if I click on save, so what will happen, this record will be saved and vendor master will be created. Okay, and even if you this vendor is interlinked with our party association ID. Okay, you can see at here the party association ID is 838. Okay, which is selected over here. Uh, and similarly, now if I want to create this particular customer in another legal entity, so at here it is already created in this USMF entity. So what I will do, I will change the legal entity from, okay, so at here what I will do, I will change the legal entity from USMF to USRT. Okay, so in this particular legal entity, okay, I have only two party association ID. Okay, and this particular customer doesn't have a customer record exist in this particular legal entity. So if I want to create customer, so I will click on this particular customer button under new, and at here I need to select the customer group as this is the mandatory field to create the new customer. Okay, so let me map the customer group, like for example other customer, and I will click on save. So this customer master has been created. So another way of copying the customer master is like for example I am copying the customer name. Okay, so let me change the legal entity. Let me select USPI. Okay, so currently I am in USPI legal entity. Now I am going to the all customer master. Okay, so if you see in this particular customer master, so I have certain customers over there. So I need to add a new customer. So what I will do, I will click on new. Okay, after clicking on new, what I will do, I will just search directly update the customer name in the name column. Okay, so when I update the name of the customer, then what will happen, it will show me the list of the same field which is already available in another legal entity. Okay, now you can see when I filter with that particular name, you can see it shows there is an exact match record is available. If you want to use this particular match, so what we will do, we will click on use match. Okay, so those information will be auto populated over here. I need to provide the USMF, I mean the customer account number, that is the mandatory field. We can, if you want, we can do the automate also. Okay, so at here I am giving the customer account number and I will select the customer group. Okay, so after selecting this information I will click on save. So once I have clicked on save, okay, so you can see all those information which is already available in the other legal entity. Okay, and also if you see the party association ID of this particular vendor, sorry, of this particular customer, it's 838, which is copied from another legal entity also, and even from the global address book. So in this way you can do the copy of the customer master from one legal entity to another legal entity. Okay, so yesterday we were discussing about the free text invoice. So let's see how we can create the free text invoice. Okay, for creation of free text invoice, so what we will do, we will navigate to the account receivable module. Under account receivable module, we have invoices. Under invoices, we have free text invoice. Okay, so at here we will click on new button to generate new free text invoice. So at here the status of this particular free text invoice will be initially it will be not posted. Okay, and if you submit to the workflow, they will be in review, and once it is completed you can and it will be posted. Once it is posted, the status will be changed to complete. Okay, now at here I will click on new button to create new free text invoice. So why we need to create free text invoice when we have the sales order? Okay, so we may have the sales order for posting of the invoices based on the goods and services. Okay, there are some certain services or PT revenues which cannot be booked directly from the sales order, so they can book directly from the free text invoice by selecting the main account. Okay, for example, it may be a utility revenue. Okay, or it may be gain or loss revenues. Okay, So those revenues can be booked through the free text invoice. Okay, at here after clicking on new, I need to select the customer to whom I am charging these particular expenses to them. Okay, like for example, or you can say in other words, I need to select the customer with whom I am getting my revenue. Okay, so at here in this particular drop down list, so let me select some random customer like Cave Wholesale. Okay, so after selecting the customer, you can see all the necessary information like name, invoice, account number, and the currency, the terms and method of payment, cash discount. So everything information has been auto populated. So this information is getting populated from our customer master. Okay, so if I scroll down, so I have the invoice line. So in invoice line, I need to provide the information like, so what was the purpose of this particular transaction. So I can provide in detail description over here in the description column. Okay, and the second column we have the main account, and you can see this is the mandatory field. We need to select the respective revenue account. Like for example, at here I'm selecting the revenue has like uh, like for example, at here I'm selecting revenue from the product. Okay, so once I have selected the revenue from product, you can see the sales tax group and item sales tax group, it is auto populating. So currently I'm removing this. Okay, let it be blank. Now at here, what I am doing, I am giving my description. Like for example, uh, revenue. So I just given some random description over here. So after providing the description in the unit price, we will update the our sales amount. Like for example, my sales amount is 5,000. Okay, so I have updated the sales amount as 5,000, and after that they will, if there is a workflow, you will submit to the workflow. Currently there is no workflow, and you can see at here note and attachment. So at here you can attach the document, like for example any reference document, like if you have the small attachment, so you can attach over here by clicking on new file or images, whatever format if you have. Okay, and browse it and you can upload that particular document. Like for example, at here I am uploading one of the screenshot. Okay, so you can preview that particular screenshot under the preview. Okay, and even if you want to open and view it, you can click on this particular open, so another tab will be open and the file will be downloaded. Okay, and after that you will click on post. So currently I have not enabled the workflow. So if you click on post, the free text invoice will be posted and the invoice number will be generated. Like for example, before posting, let me go a step back. Okay, now you can see at here the invoice is not posted and it is in process. So once you post this particular transaction, what will happen at here, the invoice number will be mapped and this status will be completed. Okay, so now I'm clicking on post. Okay, now you can see the invoice number has been mapped and the accounting status has been completed. Now if I open this particular invoice, so this is the same information which we have updated. Okay, So if I go to the invoice journal, okay, under invoice journal, we can click on vouchers to see the accounting impact. Okay, so currently there is no accounting impact has been fallen. The reason behind is our ledger subledger is not transferred. So in duplicate tab, so what I will do, I will go to the general ledger module, periodic task, subledger journal entry is not transferred. So at here the record is not available. It means that it is bad job is working. Let me refresh the page. Okay, it is not appearing. Okay. So let me explain from your view accounting. So during the invoice of the customer transaction, okay. So our customer master will be debited and respective revenue account will be credited. Okay. So the accounting impact during the free text invoice over here is your customer transaction, that is customer account will be debited at here as 5,000. Okay, and you have revenue is 5,000. Okay, so this is the ledger impact which is going to be hit during the free text invoice. Okay, even even when you book the sales order, so what is the accounting impact is going to happen? Same, your customer account will be debited, okay, and your revenue account will be getting credited. Other than that, if you have any tax, then tax account also will be credited. Like 50 as a tax, then the customer balance will be 5050. Okay, so this is the ledger impact which going to be hit during the free text invoice and during the sales. So when you do the payment, so what will happen? In payment we didn't see yet, so I'm explaining the payment what will happen. So your respective bank will be debited and customer account will be credited. So this is the accounting impact which will happen during the payment. So we will see one small payment after this, and okay, now okay, I will show you. Okay, so at here I have done the invoice. Okay, so if you want to pass a credit note on the free text invoice, so what we will do? So we will again generate a new free text invoice. Okay, and we will select the same customer like Cave Wholesale. You will select the same main account. like that is the revenue on labor. You will update the description, and at here you will update the unit price as minus 5000. Okay, so once you have updated the unit price, you will save the record and you will click on post button. So once you have clicked on post button, then system automatically posts the reverse free text credit note, and the you can see it. Let me show you after clicking on post. Yeah. Now the invoice has been posted and you can see the invoice. It's FTC. Previously FTI is there. Now it is series is FTC. Okay. And in reversal, it's past the reverse entry. So what will happen in reversal? Your customer will be created and the respective revenue account will be debited. Okay. Now you can see the customer balance is in credit and the customer revenue is in debit. So that is the reversal entry. Okay. Now I have done the invoice and this one, right? So let me create one more free text invoice. So let us generate one more thing. So we have seen the free text invoice creation and reversal passing the credit note. Okay, so we have new functionality, but still it is in developing stage. So very soon it will be going to be added uh, in the functionality, that is the credit invoicing. So what this will do, this functional is basically for if we have any invoice and if you want to pass a credit note. So what we will do, we will select that particular free text invoice and we'll click on credit invoicing. Okay, so once you click on credit invoicing, so it will give the original invoice number and we need to provide the reason and we will click on OK. So currently this particular functionality credit invoicing is in pilot mode. So there are some still development is going on from Microsoft, but very soon they're going to be launched this particular functionality for all the regions. Okay, so this credit invoicing functionality is not only on the free text invoice, it is for the sales order and purchase order also. So currently it is in introduction mode. Okay, so once this functionality has been enabled, no need to create new free text invoice for the credit note in future. Okay, so if you are clear with this particular free text invoice, so I need to explain one more thing inside the free text invoice. So I will explain that. Okay, now if I want to generate the recurring invoices for the customer, like for example, the customer, like for example, you are a mobile network uh, agent. Like for example, you are a subscriber of, let the customer is subscriber of any of the telecommunication network, like either maybe Jio or it may be Airtel or Vodafone. I need to provide him on monthly basis his subscription fee for the postpaid bill. Okay, let's imagine his postpaid bill is 1000 and he is having unlimited calls and unlimited data, and let's imagine the bill amount is 500 USD. Okay, so I need to generate a bill on monthly basis to this particular customer. So how we can generate it? Okay, so for that we have three concept over here inside the Dynamics. Okay, so let me show you that. So inside Dynamics, if you go, we have a recurring invoices under the account receivable. Under recurring invoices, these are the three things which we need to do it. Okay, actually there are four steps. So let's see the step by step process. So the first step is the free text invoice template. So at here we will design that particular template and we will map to respective customer. So let's see step one. So we'll click on free text invoice template. Okay, and after that we will click on new. So after clicking on new, you will give the template name like bills postpaid bill for Geo. Okay, so after giving it the description, we'll go to the invoice line and you will say that postpaid bill and select the main account. Like for example, at here I am selecting the main account as revenue fee and give the unit price as 500. Okay, so after updating this information, okay, you can click on save. And you can see I have some other templates also. Let me show you that. So we have dues. In dues also it's stating the same. Okay, so in dues also you can see we have the language, we have method of payment is nothing we have defined, and we have the similar way it has been defined the line. Okay, similarly we have defined for the bills. Okay, now what we will do, these particular bills I need to assign to one of the customer. Either I can assign the same templates to multiple customers, or it's depends on how we want to assign it. Okay, for that what I will do, I will go to the account receivable. So step one, we will create the template which is created, that which we have created now, that is bills. Now step two, we need to associate the customer for this particular recurring invoice. So for step two, either I can navigate to the uh, all customers, or directly I can click on assign customer. So if there is any assigned customer, it will be populated over here. So currently there is no assigned customer, so I need to go to the account receivable, customer, all customers. Okay, so at here let me pick one of the customer, like for example Forest Wholesale. Okay, so after selecting the customer, what I will do, I will go to the invoice tab over here. Under invoice tab, I have set up recurring invoice. So I will click on this setup recurring invoice. Okay, I will click on new and I will select by default activate as yes. So at here I need to select the template. So I will select the template as postpaid bill and I need to provide the start date. Like let's say for example I'm giving the start date as 1st January 2025, and the billing end date, I'm giving the billing end date as uh, December 31. Okay, so maximum cumulative amount at here, it's nothing but, like for example, so if you want to make a cumulative invoices, so how much cumulative invoices you can do it on. Like for example, if there is a prior month it is not done, so maximum how many cumulative amount you can provide, so that information you can update over here. Like for example, at here I am updating cumulative amount as 5000. Okay, I can make 10 times as accumulation. Okay, after updating this information, you can see generate the recurring invoice by default on free text invoice template basis, and at here the recurrence. So how you want to provide the recurrence, on daily basis or weekly, monthly or yearly. Like for example on daily basis, so if you want to generate on daily, so we will provide at here 1. If you want to provide on weekly basis, so we will give after 7 days, I mean 7, if you mention 7 over here, after 7 days a invoice will be generated. Okay, if you give monthly base, so if you provide as 1, so at here you will select the month, so monthly base it will be calculated. Okay, and yearly, if so you will select yearly, and if you mention 1, and at here you will select the year, so yearly base it will be generated the recurring invoice. So at here I need to provide this particular bill on monthly basis, so what I will do, I will select as monthly. So once I have selected monthly, you can see at here it is also mentioned as month. So at here per month I am giving, so I am provided the comment over here as 1 in the text box, and you can see month has been updated. Now once I have saved this particular record, so what will happen, the billing template has been assigned to respective customer. Okay, now even if I go back to the free text invoice, under free text invoice template, so I have this particular bills, right? So if I click on assign customer, so I can able to view that particular customer information, and you can also able to see number of invoice generated so far, it is 0. Okay, so this is step 1 and step 2. Now let's see step 3. Step 3 is nothing but to generate the invoice, recurring invoice. So what we need to do, for that we have to go to the account receivable. Okay, under invoice we have recurring invoice. Under recurring invoice we will click on generate recurring invoices. So once you have click on generate recurring invoice, so what it will do, a pop-up form will be open. So you need to provide the invoice date and generation date. Okay, so let's imagine I'm giving the invoice date and generation date as 31st Jan 2025. After that I have a template, so based on which template I need to generate the invoice. Like for example, I need to generate based on bills, so I will select the template as bills. Okay, after that if you want to filter with any of the records, so you can update the filter with the customer account. And if you want to run in batch in background, so you will make it as yes. So currently I'm not making as yes, so let it be run in front end. Okay, so after that I will click on OK. So once I have clicked on OK, now you can see we have received one notification stating that recurring invoice 005 has been created successfully. Okay, now there is a recurring invoice has been created. Now if I go back to the all free text invoice, now you can see we can see a one invoice record has been created and the status of this particular invoice is not posted. Okay, so if I open this particular not posted record, you can see postpaid bill, and this is the revenue account which we have mapped in the template, that is fee account, and you can see the amount is 500. So this information is populating from our template, and once we have sent that particular customer, so based on that particular customer, those all the necessary information is populating and we can do the invoice. Okay, now you can see at here the invoice button is grayed out. Okay, the reason behind is we have generated this one based on the recurring invoice, so you can post this particular transaction from the recurring invoice button. Okay, for that we have to navigate. So the step 3 is generating the recurring invoice, which is done. Now step 4, posting the recurring invoice. So we will go to the post recurring invoices, so it will appear that over here, and you can see the status is not posted, uh, no is not posted, yes is posted. So I will click on this particular recurring invoice, so it will show me how many invoice has been generated, how many customers having this particular template, those information you can able to view it. So let me show you one more example. Let's see if it is for posted, if I am having anything. Yeah, now you can see this is 004 which is already posted. So at here we have so many invoices which were generated and was got posted. So at here you can see we have two different customers invoices also posted. Okay, like for example, if you have any prior invoices which is not posted, and during the recurring invoice generation, sorry, so if you have if you doesn't have any invoice generation which is related to prior period, and now while generating that particular template base, when you are generating a new invoices, so the prior period invoices will also generate it and you can post that particular transaction. Okay, now I will select this 005 and I will click on post. So once I have clicked on post, so what will happen, this free text invoice will be posted and free text invoice number will be assigned to that particular transaction. Okay, now you can see this particular free text invoice has been posted. So if I go back to the all free text invoice form, there is nothing is there. Okay, so if I select has posted status, so this is the information which is populating over here. Okay, so I have the recurring invoice number, that is 00005. So I just filter with that particular recurring invoice number which is generated for this particular free text invoice. Okay, now you can see this is the free text invoice number which is populating, and you can see the same amount information, everything is auto populated over here. So this free text invoice concept is clear for you now? Free text invoice and recurring free text invoice.
Gautam, uh, is this recurring invoice we can post this date directly for the future dates also, or else we need to generate every month this invoice
We have to generate every month. Like for example,
every.
see, we have, when you are generating the recurring invoice, okay, like let's see, at here you have the invoice date and invoice generation date. Now I have generated for 31st January. Okay, now I'm already in February month, so if I want to generate the February month, I can generate for February month. Even you can generate for the March, April, May, June, July, August, up to December, whatever I have given based on the template. Okay, but future month you can generate it, but the posting can be done based on that particular month, and the accounting impact also will be done based on that particular month. Okay, so you cannot receive revenue in advance. I mean, you can receive in advance, but uh, it doesn't mean that the accounting impact and the even the revenue also you cannot show directly in your ledger account for the future dated, right? So
Okay,
what
okay.
so what we will do, either you can generate and you can keep it as open and you can post it later, okay, or you can generate based on monthly basis. Like for example, currently I'm in Feb 6th, so let me generate based on Feb and date. Okay, and let me select the template and I can generate the free text invoice. Okay, now you can see when I'm generating the free text invoice, so you can see we have we have done some customization in another legal entity. Okay, that is for Qatar. Okay, they are based on recurring invoices, so for them we have designed their own revenue will be based on these recurring invoices basis. So they have quarterly, they have uh, annually, they have bi-weekly. So those recurring invoices we have created over there with the help of this one.
Okay, Gautam.
Okay, so if you are clear with this particular recurring invoice part, so let me create one payment and I need to showcase you another conceptual how we can write off. Okay, now under payments we have customer payment journal. So on our account receivable we have payments, we have customer payment journal. So we will click on new, and at here we will select the payment type as cust pay. So this particular journal name will be customer payment. Okay, you can see the journal name. Journal type is customer payment. For vendor it will be vendor disbursement, and for customer it will be customer payment. Okay, so after that I will go to the lines, same as it is how you are doing the vendor payment. The similar way it will show over here, but instead of vendor, at here we will select the customer. Okay, so let me select the customer. Like for example, I am selecting the customer as Forest Wholesale. Okay, so after selecting the customer, I will go to the settle transaction. Okay, so under settle transaction, I have decided that uh, I will make the payment for this particular invoice. Okay, instead of 500 I will make 450. Okay, so I will update as 450 and I will click on OK. So the 450 amount has been added to the your payment line amount, and the method of payment will be changed to check, and you can click on post button. So once you have click on post button, your payment information will be posted. Okay, now this particular fee text invoice has been now the payment journal has been posted. So if I go to this particular customer master form, okay, so in this particular customer master, if I go to the transactions, okay, now you can see this customer having the total balance of 145 623.8868. Okay, so in this I need to write off couple of the amount. Like for example, in this 450 is this 50 is there, I need to do write off. So what we can do, okay, I will go to the sorry, I will go back. Okay, so in this particular customer transaction form, customer master form, I will go to the collections. Okay, so at here I will go to the write off. So once I have clicked on write off, so what will happen, so it will write off, it will create the write off journal. Okay, so what do you mean by write off over here? So the write off is nothing but the 50%, like for example I have made the create the invoices for the 500, but I have received the 450 as the payment. So the remaining 50 customer denied to pay to me. Okay, so that 50 I need to write off with the help of this write off functionality. So I will make that particular invoice balance as zero. I mean that line balance as zero. Okay, so I will, once I have clicked on OK, so a write off journal will be created. Okay, now you can see the write-off process is completed. The write-off journal has been created in USMF ready, is ready to post. Now, if I go back to the journal ledger, under journal ledger, I have journals. Now you can see there is a write-off transaction has been created in USMF entity for Forest Wholesale. Okay, so if I go to the lines, now you can see it gives me the complete all the 145 623 transaction write off. Okay, but I need to post the write off for only one invoice, that is the 50, not for others. So what I will do, I will remove the others, I will keep only 50. Okay, now you can see at here my customer is writing off and it was transferring his debts to the bad debt expense account. So bad debt is nothing but those expenses which I will not receive moving forward from the customer, then we will transfer to this particular bad debts account. Okay, now this particular customer balance 50 is transferring to the write off. So once I post this particular transaction, so what will happen, the 50 balance whatever it is showing under the customer master, for example let me show you that. So in customer master, now you can see this is the pre-text invoice which we have generated. Okay, now we have this particular 50 balance. So with the help of this write-off functionality, we are making this particular write-off of 50. So once we posted this particular journal, so what will happen at here, this 50 will be knock off with the write-off and it will be transferred to the bad debt, and the balance of this particular line will be 0. So let's see. So let me post this particular write off journal. So I have clicked on post button. Journal has been posted. Now in the customer statement, let me refresh this particular page. Yeah, now you can see the free text invoice at here 500 is the balance and 500 was 500 which was invoice. In this we have 450 which is already made through payment, and 50 you can see the write off for the customer. Okay, 50 is write off for the customer, and this 500 is knocked off with this particular payment line and write off line. Okay, okay, let me re-explain what happened. Okay, let me select some other customer so that I can. Okay, let's use this one. Okay, so we have the Cave Wholesale is one of our customer. Okay, so Cave Wholesale customer has informed us that I will not pay 1040 amount. Okay, so when he informed that I will not pay 1040 amount, so what will happen? Uh, we need to transfer this particular amount to bad debt. So bad debt is nothing but the write off account. Okay, so how we can transfer? We can transfer to the write off account. Okay, so how we can transfer this particular amount 1040 to write off account? So we can transfer, for that what we need to do, we need to go a step back. Okay, so after selecting this particular customer, under collections we have write off. So once you clicked on this particular write off button, so what will happen, a write off journal will be created with this particular date, and the description is the write off of customer balance. Okay, so once I have clicked on OK, So system, what it will do, it will generate a write-off journal by default. Okay, so let me click on OK. Now you can see I will receive a pop-up message stating that journal batch number 0640 has been created in USMF entity and it is ready to post. Now what I will do, I will navigate in another tab to general ledger module. Okay, under general ledger module I have one write-off transaction. Okay, you can see the description, the write-off transaction for US 004 for K wholesale. If I click on lines, it will display all the invoices field, okay, which I need to make the write-off. Now at here what I will do, let me remove the last two line, as I have informed that I will make the write-off for only 1040. Okay, yeah, now you can see the customer balance. Now you can see the customer balance is 1040 and the write-off ledger balance is 1040, which I am making knockoff. Okay, so once I post this particular transaction, so what will happen, the transaction amount over here in this particular customer transaction, so I have an amount of 1040. This will be knocked off with this respective transaction, that is this one. Okay, so let me post this particular transaction. So the transaction has been posted. So if I go back to the another tab, if I refresh this particular page, now you can see this 1040 previously it's showing as balance, now it has been 0, and you can see there is another journal voucher has been created, write off, and this is the write off for the transaction of wholesale 1040. Okay, the balance whichever is there 1040 has been transferred from the customer balance to the bad debts account. Okay, so that is the functionality of write off. Is there any doubts in this particular write-off concept?
No, Gautam.
Okay, so we will stop over here. Tomorrow we will see some of the payment types, and even we will see the work, some of the reports. Then we are almost done for the account receivable module. Okay, so we will see you tomorrow. Complete payments, so how we can generate the payments. So today I just created one sample payment, so tomorrow we will see more in detail with different payment methods. Okay, if you have any doubts you can raise. Okay, then see you tomorrow for the payments class.